In this video, I'm going to step you through the whole process of transferring your design or your pattern onto the wood in a couple of the most basic, easiest ways possible. Let's see. Okay, so if you have your design, you printed it, whatever, you have it, you need to get this image onto the wood. The easiest way, well, okay, I guess maybe not the easiest, but the cheapest way to do it without having to buy any other supplies is to do the graphite method, which is where you flip your design over and you are going to use a pencil to scribble that graphite everywhere where the design is. I don't know if you ever did this in school, but I learned about this in like 6th grade. This was a thing where we would like copy patterns and write notes to each other because, I don't know, it's just what you do when you're 12 in 6th grade. So you don't need to cover the entire paper, just where you would see the outline of whatever it is your design is. So I don't need to color in this white space, but I will just quickly cover the cloud. And I'm just gonna stop there because I think you probably get the idea. But you just wanna have a really nice solid layer of graphite. And this requires literally just having a pencil. You don't have to have any other tracing paper or anything. Now you're going to want to tape, you're gonna wanna tape that design down. Once you have it centered or, you know, wherever it is you want it, tape it down. And I have some old washi tape that I keep handy on my desk. And if you have extra white space along any of your edges, that's where you should tape it down. I don't have enough white space here, so I'm gonna end up covering some of the design, but I can still see it through the tape. All right, and so then what you're going to want to do is trace over everywhere where you want the design to be. So basically everything you covered on the back is what you're gonna trace now. You can use a pencil, but I really like to use a pen, something with color, so you can see where you've already been. When I originally used this is a reused template. You can see that I used like red ink. I used a red pen. I don't have a red pen at the moment, but I do have just a black pen. So I'm gonna start left to right and I'm going to do every element as I go. And I'm not digging into the wood. I'm not pressing super hard, but you need it to be, you don't want it to be super light either. We're not like lightly scribbling. Like we need to put a little bit of pressure on that to make sure that we are getting the full line transferred onto the wood. And so what this is doing is you are now pushing that graphite on the back side onto the wood everywhere your pen is hitting. If you want to take a peek, you can flip it over. Just make sure your tape doesn't come undone. And look, this is what's going on the back side. So let me just finish it. And then let me do my sun and my cloud. Let me double check. If you have a complex design, you can flip back and forth to make sure that you did all the details. And another thing is, if you don't want one of the elements, like if I didn't want the cloud, I don't have to trace the cloud. I could just like make up a line here. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to transfer that, but you could just make a line to fulfill the rest of the sun, the circle, right? Like you can choose which elements you do and don't transfer if there's part of the design that you don't like. Or if you're feeling adventurous, you can do the opposite. You can add things to the design. So like I could add a couple birds or something if I really wanted to, you know, and there's already graphite on that side, so it transferred my little birds. So that's the graphite method. Super easy, a little bit more time consuming though, but free, right? All you need is a pencil. If you are like, oh no, if you have bigger designs or things that are going to take way longer to scribble on, then you might not want to spend your time doing that. So there are other methods. One of the cheapest methods is to use graphite paper or carbon copy paper. I have a little tin that I keep off to the side, and it has a whole bunch of different kinds of transfer paper because there are so many different kinds out there. Let's see. Okay, so the blue here, these come in big sheets, and one sheet is reusable over and over and over and over and over again. You can see all of the different designs and stuff that I've used this one single sheet for. And the way you use this is you don't have to do the graphite part, right? This is a whole different kind of method. You tape your design down wherever you want it. So I tape it down. You slide the paper with the waxy side down, or it's going to be like the shiny side. If you have graphite paper like this, graphite paper is black, but there's a dull side and a shiny side, just like with this carbon paper. Or it's kind of like, it's not carbon, it's more of like a wax, but anyway, there's a dull side and a shiny side. You want the shiny side down because that's the side that has the graphite, has the substance on it. And like I said, this will be taped down. This doesn't need to be taped down. This is free to just slide underneath. And then you start doing exactly what we did in the other method, where you just start tracing things, right? And I'm using just like a normal handwriting pressure. I'm not digging into the wood, but I'm not going so soft that it's like not showing up, right? And my transfer is not perfect because I'm trying to do this relatively quickly. And then you can peek and make sure that it is doing the thing. If you mess up, oh here, wait, hold on. Before we do that, let me show you what the blue would look like. I'll do the blue with the cactus. So remember, shiny side down. If you want to check, see how it's going. Okay. And boom. And you can see that this is blue and this is black and this is kind of gray. All right, so now we have 3 different kinds. I am going to, I'm going to finish out the design actually, so I can burn it later as an example. So let me just, sorry. It's not perfect, but just for the sake of having the full design. Okay, there we go. So now once your design is on there and you're happy with it, you can peel it off, you know, peel the tape off or whatever, and just stick your design off to the side. Now you're ready to get burning. Now, what I was going to say about mistakes is if you happened to like make a mistake, or you transferred a line that you didn't mean to, or this is something else that happens. People who have jewelry on their wrist, when they go to transfer, like if their hand is on the wood, like there are people who will like walk away with all these smudges and marks that, you know, they don't want on their wood, and they're not going to burn that. So one of the best tricks that I learned to get some of this off is to use a magic eraser. I don't know if you've ever used these for cleaning around your house or anything, but they are fantastic. And I took one from the box that I bought, and I just have it on my desk in my arsenal of tools. And basically it will help. It's not a perfect solution. especially for the pieces or the lines that are like super deep or super dark, it won't get it all the way out. Let me try to actually like erase some of this. So if I'm like, ugh, I don't like it anymore, you know, it's lightening it, but it's not taking it all the way out. But it is good for getting some of those little extra smudges. It's also really good on straight graphite. Not the graphite paper, but straight graphite, like lead from your pencil. It will erase that right away. Trying to get the transfer paper lines off is always a difficult thing. If you are not having good luck with your magic eraser, like if your lines are too deep or too dark, there are other things you can do, right? You can try to sand it out. If you are going to add color to your art, depending on where the line is, you might just end up covering up that line with paint or color or something, and so you wouldn't even see it later on, so it might not be a problem. But a lot of people like to have a clean design and they don't want these extra lines and stuff. So I like these little tools because these are sanding pens, and the tip of the pen here is a bunch of glass fibers, and it acts as like I said, like a sanding pen. This is not a perfect solution either because it will scratch up the surface of your wood depending on how hard you're pushing. And if you twist too much out at the end, and then you go to like wipe it away, the little glass shards can sometimes get stuck in your hand like fiberglass, and they really hurt. If that happens, I recommend getting a piece of duct tape and like putting the duct tape on your hand and ripping it off, because it'll like pull the little glass shards out of your hand. So you don't want to have a lot sticking out of the tip of one of these things. You want just enough. So anyway, you could also use, let's see, if you had like a little scrap of sandpaper, you know, you could try to gently sand it out, things like that. So there are solutions, but that's the general overview of transferring a design onto the wood with the cheapest and easiest ways. There are a lot of other methods that people use, including like a transfer tool with heat, and a laser printer. Let's see, some people will print their design on like film inverted and then lay the film on their wood and push it and like put the printer ink onto the wood. Like there's a bunch of different ways, but these are the two easiest, quickest, and cheapest ways to transfer a design onto wood.